Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad jeans. Dad jeans.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Fabulous. Thank you. I really appreciate you taking that adjustment from me about what Peter Piper was picking.
Oh, I always forget because this has been a lifelong assumption of mine. So I'm having to reframe everything in my thinking process in order to do this for you. But I'll do it for you.
I really appreciate. It's not going unnoticed. That's for damn sure.
Good.
So Pen 15, you say?
Pen 15. Yeah, this is it's a show by these two like women in their early to mid 30s where they play 13-year-old versions of themselves in a high school full of the actual 13-year-olds. And it is just I won't ruin anything. I won't spoil anything, but it's on Hulu. It's much highly recommended. I just started watching it, and it has made me laugh more than anything that I've seen in recent years.
Oh, I need this. I've needed that for a long time, and now we can enjoy things again, Jeffrey.
Yes, we're back to life.
This
the
is so
joy
delicious.
of life.
I did not allow myself to imagine this possibility this morning. In any way?
No. This morning or this week?
This week, I suppose, starting yesterday morning. And yeah, I suppose all week. I mean, Tuesday, I felt much more at home Tuesday when the world was coming apart and we were going to have to move to outer Slobovia to get away from the nihilists that were taking over.
That's how we know how to feel that way now.
Yeah.
We've forgotten how to feel the other way.
This is an abusive relationship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we should probably our listeners don't follow politics too closely, Brendan. So we should probably tell them what we're talking about.
Right, we're talking about how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finally beat the Falcons.
Finally, we've been waiting for so long. My God,
this is. It's such a deliciously huge day, and I fell down the Facebook hole and allowed myself to get sucked into that right-wing cesspool once again to lecture because it's fun to lecture my high school friends who voted for Trump in it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Wait. So you have a hole? You are part of that hole? You still can belong to that hole?
I need to. I occasionally have Emily change my password so I don't know what it is, and then I log out, and then I can't log in without facing the humiliation of being like, Emily, Can I check Facebook? Yeah. and she could be like, oh, is there a good reason?
Oh my God, Brendan, this is your perfect relationship. You're such a sub.
I know.
You're just always looking for your top.
When we were talking about when we feel most comfortable, and I will admit, because I'm so dominant in the workspace.
Of course, yes, exactly, and in every other facet of your life. It's
right. Like, I mean, when you're as high powered as I am, you really want to go to those themed clubs and get whipped by someone.
You think that's why Mitch McConnell's hands were all weird and he was all bruised up?
He got strangled by the wrists by a dom.
Yeah. That might be it, actually.
Definitely. He's like, oh, I wonder if I could have the platinum package.
Tell me I'm not a fascist, Mommy.
Oh, it's so delicious.
No, okay, so you went down. Tell me about the right-wing holes because I've been dying. I've eliminated all those people from my life, and I'm dying to hear what they're saying.
It's all the fucking conspiracy theories. They're all watching OAN and all that shit, and they don't even sound. They don't use punctuation. They're talking. They're going around their elbow to get to their asshole on an intellectual level about how Trump is remotely Christian and stuff like this. Like he's the Christian choice. None of it makes objective sense, and it's like.
No, but neither does religion. That's why he's the Christian choice.
Oh, okay. You just unlocked that for me because I was like, no, but of course, it just takes blind
faith. Jinx. Yes.
And the blinder or the more blinding the faith is, the better, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
The more difficult a thing to. That's it. The more difficult a thing to believe in, the more jujitsu they're capable of. The more they can brag and flex on their Christian buddies.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Okay, we've already unlocked one mystery.
We have.
But you have friends who are like caught up in this, or vague acquaintances.
Yeah, I guess I would say vague acquaintances, who I haven't seen in years and years, but many of whom have just sort of turned, and I have, so my Facebook feed, I don't know if anyone has had the distinct displeasure of wandering onto it. Usually, like, I'll post a thing, and then there are all these dudes who come from the Democratic
and they're all
center.
dudes.
They're all dudes.
They're all dudes.
They're all
Always
dudes. All white dudes. And they leap onto my thread and start lecturing each other and lecturing me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's amazing. And I do learn quite a bit, actually. I mean, they're dyed in the wool centrists, meaning Bob Dole Republicans, but they won't admit they're Bob Dole Republicans. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
and just contrarians, as we've discussed before. Like, there's a lot of dudes out there who their politics is disagreement.
Yes, and frustration.
Yes, right.
And
because they're not leaping onto the right wing guy's feed and being like, "I totally agree with you." All they're doing is going onto the left wingers' feeds and being like, "Yeah, you guys are liberal pussies" or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. And oh my God, you just unlocked mystery number 2. You know what else they're doing, Jeff? They are gathering nuggets from us to then go on right-wing feeds and be contrarian to them also and use our best lines.
Oh, interesting. I wonder. I don't think so. I think they just think we're terrible.
Right, exactly.
These are awful people. But okay, so if you do have any of these creeps come onto your feed, I know we're beyond the point of logical argument, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
But if anyone starts troubling you with this whole election interference bullshit, the Republicans blocked 3 bills to secure the elections.
Yes.
So it's not like anywhere you trace it, it's their fucking fault.
Yes.
Anywhere you trace it, they fucked up.
Exactly. And this is all part of their strategy. Slow it down and then complain about the pace.
Exactly. But I am just. Should we get into our first segment, because this is just a flow?
It's been knocking at the door since we started speaking.
I know it has. It's true. We're just waiting. We're just vamping until we can get to that theme song. You had a quick compunction.
I had a quick compunction, which is that. Oh, we should probably play both of Brian's theme songs.
I'm so sorry, I was wrong, and here we are, Compunction Junction. Compunk yourself before you flunk yourself, before you dunk yourself, before you junk yourself. Compunk yourself before you gunk yourself. I'm sorry.
Listener Brian L. Perkins, the L is for lovely.
I was just about to say the L is for lavatory.
Oh, see, that's better. That's way better. You nailed him on that one.
Brian Lavatory Perkins.
Brian Lavatory Perkins. Or Lou for short.
He tells everyone it's lavalier when he's on set, but no one buys it.
Lies. What is it really? It's Lamont or something, isn't it?
No, I say it's Lamont. It's actually Laverne. Actually, I don't know.
Awesome.
When he was the first time he was a guest on our show, I insisted it was Lamont, even though he kept repeating what it actually is.
See, it's stuck in my head. That works.
That's good.
Disinformation works.
Well, I've made myself a brand ambassador for him, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, basically that's all Dad Jeans is. It's really a long tail promotion for BLP.
No, it's totally true. And actually, that's a good segue into my compunction, which is this. On a recent episode, I riffed that you are my only friend. And this actually did not take into account that I actually have like a solid 4 or 5 friends.
Oh, excellent. Okay. And these are high-level friends. These are not mid-tier friends.
High-level friends.
These are friends you care to keep.
Yeah, the mid-tier friends are gone. Yeah,
Good.
But I have 4 or 5 high-level friends, and therefore, I did not include them in that tally when I said you're my only friend.
Were they angry?
No, I'm sure they were like, oh, okay, well, all right. They were just sort of, this is what I do to people. They were sort of disappointed if they thought about it.
Right. Okay. That's fair. See, I that was a test. I was going to trick you on that one. My plan in my head is I was going to say, were they angry? And you're going to say they don't listen to Dad Jeans, and I was going to say, well, then they're not your friends, Brendan.
Yes, right. This actually only applies to the ones who do listen to Dad.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. But you have 4 friends who listen to Dad Jeans. That's amazing.
1, 2, yeah, but roughly maybe 3.
Wow.
But
That's
solid Joes, good pals that I am genuinely pals with, and I just ran the numbers quickly, and there was a person I was looking at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was you,
Yeah.
and so I was like, I think I have 1 friend, but if I were listening to a radio show that a friend of mine had, and they did a tally, and I knew I was in it, I would be mildly disappointed.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. What you need to do is say, I have 1 friend, but not designate that friend is me.
Oh, right.
Then you've got the rest of the guys out there vying for your attention.
Yeah. So I could say, present company excluded, I have 1 friend.
There you go. Yeah, and then the other guys are like, what do I need to do to get in to be that
I should say
lucky number 1?
present company excluded before everything I say.
Yeah, that's probably true. Present company excluded, you're a fucking idiot. Does that work?
Yeah, exactly. Present company excluded. I wet my bed till I was 19.
Hey, is that true?
I mean, by 19, it was
Ish.
once a year.
You're like, ish. So did Sarah Silverman. Did you read her autobiography, Bedwetter?
No.
It is so good.
Oh, yes. You've talked about this on the air before, and I always meant to read
Yes.
it, and I never have.
Oh, it's a breeze. It's a breeze to get through. She's a joy.
Fantastic.
A joy and a delight. Okay. Well, I forgive you.
Thanks.
Do we need to create some kind of ritual for compunctions now where you eat the host?
Right.
I give you 4.
That's so disturbing to think about.
Be feeding you the host.
I have to eat the host. Well, it would be like Hail Marys, couple Our Fathers. Here's what.
Exactly. We'll have to think
Catholicism. What you have to say about Catholicism is they have built in a mechanism by which you can achieve forgiveness on your own.
True. How do they own the country now too?
Second Catholic president.
Second Catholic president, Catholic Supreme Court, Catholic, I would guess, Senate, probably.
No. Very Protestant.
Oh, really?
Oh, unbelievably Protestant. It's usually all Protestants. I mean,
I guess they're evangelicals.
Every president has been Protestant until, except for JFK and Biden.
I know that, but they do have the Supreme Court.
Oh, right, the Catholics.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, but those are weird Those aren't normal Catholics. They're weird Catholics.
No, yes, agreed.
Mostly because Catholicism.
Well, not all of them. I think one of Sotomayor, is she Catholic?
Gotta be.
I feel like we got
from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we got
she's
one
a
normal Catholic.
The normie. Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing about Catholicism. I am no Catholic. However, I come from Catholic stock. I'm it's all my ancestors were Catholics, and it's the only religion that focuses on the poor in any way.
Yeah. Oh, I think when done correctly, like it's all like crazy gobbledygook, right? Like when you get to the very root of everything.
Uh-huh.
But somehow all of that gobbledygook, like transmogrifies. I think this is isn't that some kind of Catholic principle, transmogrification or something?
Yeah. The Transmogrification of Christ was a Mel Gibson movie.
Yes, exactly. One of the lesser known. But it all transmogrifies into something that actually can be quite lovely in practice, right?
Yeah.
Like they're the only ones who really understand the idea of like self-sacrifice for the better good, I feel like.
Right. It gets weird when they start wearing hair shirts and stuff like that, but it's
right.
They take it too far. They take everything too far. That's the problem. As Bill Burr would say, they party way too hard.
Yeah. Did I tell you the story about, I did. I'm sure I've told it on Dad Jeans before, about Luke Campbell going to a party at Donald Trump's house and being like, they party too hard for me.
That is fantastic.
It was like Luther Campbell. I forget who he went there with, who is the lead singer of Two Live Crew, if you might remember.
Oh, yes. Right.
AKA Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
God.
He went to a party at Jeffrey Epstein's house that was like thrown by Epstein and Trump in the 90s. And he was like, we had to leave because they were partying a little too hard.
Oh my God. Do you think his orange face is going to clash with his orange jumpsuit?
Oh my God. Okay, let's get into newspapers.
Oh, yeah,
There's just
newspapers.
Too much to talk about.
Okay, should we just do the theme? Oh, we didn't do the theme yet. We'll do the theme now.
A lot of stuff going on over here, over there. We're gonna tell you about the world, cause the world is important. Newspapers, we peep the news.
There you go. Newspapers. Brendan, how are you feeling? What are your thoughts? What are your theories? Tell me about your week. Let's peep this news.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the positive.
Yes. Consider the positive, man. Consider the positive.
Yes, be the change. So, yesterday morning, I was sleeping one off, and I heard Emily and Oscar shouting, and I burst out of bed. She had received a text. We turned on the news. It was true. Got out the pots and pans, banged them around, went outside, jumped and yelled, ran down the street to our neighbor's and is a Democratic operative, and he was in charge of Wisconsin and Georgia.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So did he work with Ben Wickler?
I have maybe. I don't know.
New American hero, that guy. He saved Wisconsin.
Oh, fucking A. And then Stacey Abrams. We have this new class of awesome people. And so we just jumped for joy for a while. That all happened. And then we came back home. And actually, right after we left, Billie Eilish came across the street and took pictures with everybody. And I was like, damn it!
Shut up. Really?
Yeah, because everyone was so excited. You know what I mean?
What?
And so then...
She's hanging out at her folks' house?
From what I
Oh
understand,
my God.
yeah, she's
God.
got a giant palace under construction. But once the thing hit, she was like, she's only 18 years old. So she's like, I'll just play Switch in my bedroom at my old bedroom. In fact, she's probably like, now I have my brother's bedroom, which was bigger. So I don't know. I don't know her life. I've never met. I saw her drive down the street the other day, but I've never met her.
Right, but you could have if you had just hung around.
That's what I'm saying. It kills me. Oh well.
Fuck.
Any case, then what happened? So then, and then Oscar and I got, and we long planned when this was called. We got out the electric guitar and the amp and my guitar, and we brought it out to the street and just went nuts playing, like waking up the neighborhood at 8:45.
Oh, Jesus. See, that's fun. Wait, was it really that early? Oh, well, yeah, I guess it was.
People were yelling out their windows. It was so excellent.
Wow. That was not happening in Altadena, but I think we all felt it internally in the way we feel things in Altadena.
Ah, yes.
We're a little bit more, we keep to ourselves out here.
Altadena is known for, it's city of inner monologue. Isn't that I saw that on a billboard, the inner monologue capital of the world.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. We have T-shirts that say that.
But you have to wear them inside out.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you were partying with Billie Eilish. No, not partying with Billie Eilish. Just having a good old time.
Yeah.
And then, then life just went on because now it's going on. We know who won. But what were your thoughts in that moment? Did you just? Are you just flipping out? You're having why am I interviewing you? I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I appreciate you luring me out of my cave like this.
Yeah, I don't know. Just talk, ramble.
I was all very excited. I keep trying to make It's Morning in America happen, just to take it back from fucking Ronald Reagan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That would be great.
It's so mean-spirited, and so I'm writing It's Morning in America all over all the social media. And of course, all the social media arguments have already begun. Here's the thing, Jeff. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
So I can't. I was all excited and everything, and I even cried when Van Jones cried. Everyone and all this stuff. It's great, totally great. Already come the articles that we should reach across the aisle to these fuckwads, and already we're pre-surrendering and pre-tempering ourselves. It's their job. We need to lead with a bold vision, and it's their job to temper us. We won, so they have to please us. Just like we had to sort of contort, but we're so willing to contort into something that they that might appeal to them when they would never do something like that for us. It is like a drunk, abusive stepfather finally, by law, being extricated from the family and then being like, well, we should still be nice to him. No, you should neutralize that motherfucker. These toxic, nihilist motherfuckers now just need to be neutralized back into their holes. Give them all Nintendo Switches, so that we don't hear from them for a while. Turn on the free pornography pipe to their houses, so that they're just gone for like years and we never hear from them again. so that, you know what I mean? Like that we cannot be like ever get them because there's too much Fox News and there's too much OAN to get them to ever see the light. So why should we have to contort ourselves? Yet all those motherfucking centrists are out in force with their fucking op-eds being like, well, now we have to consider that. And I'm like, no.
Right.
No.
Well, did you see Ilhan Omar's response to John Kasich? Who was like, John Kasich wrote something about how like we gotta like move away from progressivism or something like that, and Ilhan Omar's like you motherfucker, like you lost to Donald Trump, like you have no say here, go the fuck away.
Yes,
you know,
exactly. Yeah, and they're taking it as a mandate to it's such bullshit, and thank God for AOC, because all we want to do is bring patchouli to a bazooka fight, and I fucking had it. Jeffrey, what about you?
Well, let me just I want to double click on this a little bit, because what are your feelings on like when Joe Biden says I'm going to be the president of all America, not just blue America. I'll admit that does get me a little bit. I'm a little bit like, yeah, that's what a president should be.
Sure.
So I don't know where to stand on this, because I do. No, absolutely. You don't capitulate to anything.
Mm-hmm.
We got a mandate. Biden said it yesterday, which I appreciate in his speech. And we're going to, like the idea that we need to move in a more progressive direction. Let's do that. Yes. But there is some, I don't know. I don't want to say healing, because I don't know if healing is possible, but there is we do need to return to normalcy somehow, right? Like to the government just being boring. And yes. I don't know how to do that. I don't think reaching across the aisle is the correct way to do it or to phrase it, but I'm seeing honestly like more pushback against that idea than I'm seeing anyone floating that idea. Like I'm seeing more anger about that idea before it's even occurred, before it's even happened.
There are some prominent op-eds floating out there, and I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Well, as you speak, I have an idea, and my idea is this. Reach across the aisle to Mitt Romney and no one else, and show that if you are a normal Republican, you get to have a little bit of a say in the compromise. But if you are a fucking QAnon psychopath, you are out in the cold. For 4 straight years, you have nothing to do.
I like that. Just eliminate certain voices from the discussion. Mm-hmm. Well, we could still win the Senate. So if we did that, much less reaching across the aisle that we'll have to discuss.
And I can just hear the op-eds. It's 2008 all over again. Obama came in with the trifecta, and then he sat on it for 2 years until he lost it. He didn't actually do anything.
No, but he was new. I got it. I have ultimate sympathy for Obama, probably because I'm just a sucker for that guy's sex appeal. But he was new. He was the first black president. He had so much to deal with. We were in the middle of a financial crisis.
Oh yeah.
I feel like, and Joe Lieberman fucked us on universal health care. That is Joe Lieberman's
I'll never
fault.
forgive that guy.
No, he was the one who killed universal health care.
Fuck Joe Lieberman.
Fuck Joe Lieberman, exactly. But I mean, we've still got those people in our coalition, right? We've got your Mansions. We've got your, who else? I don't know.
Yeah.
Heidi Heidkamp. Is that a name?
I think that's a name. Yeah. that was a series of books. She had braids and skipped everywhere and pulled pranks on the postman.
Yeah, and she solved crimes
and chased ghosts.
I totally agree with you. I think I'm just like there's so much there's just the instant responders. I just want to be happy for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes, I feel you.
I just want to be like, fuck, man. Like last night I was just like, no cynicism. Like I can't, I mean, ultimately, like Joe Biden is a fucking centrist. We did elect this dull middle of the road guy who none of us wanted. Right. But in retrospect, maybe he was the best choice, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he did it. He did it.
Yep.
And there's no, there was no civil war. We didn't have like somehow it just all like fizzled, which is my newspeoper's take for this week, which is the most delicious part of all of this is just seeing. And fuck the media, fuck the mainstream media for not realizing this earlier. But like immediately Donald Trump became irrelevant.
Yes.
Like the second Fox
Yes.
News called Arizona, everyone just stopped paying attention to him.
It's fabulous. His name is nowhere on the cover of the New York Times today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Dead in the water.
No one cares. All this shit, like for years. Now, and I've been a purveyor of it too. Like I've been nervous about what was going to happen, but there's always been also like the suspicion in my head that these people are just fucking paper tigers, right? And the minute, like, can you imagine if the left legitimately was looking at the scoreboard, they saw Donald Trump at 290 and Joe Biden at 214 right now, and we legitimately thought it was because of election fraud? Do you think we'd be sitting inside crying? Like responding to people on Facebook? No, we would be in the fucking streets.
Yeah.
We would be taking over every street of every city in America.
Yes.
Like the left does not sit quietly and accept shit, but the right does. And they walk around with guns and they pretend they're bad boys and they call themselves like Boogaloo Brothers and dumb names like that.
Meal Team 6.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Lunchbox 6.
Gravy Seals.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And but when push comes to shove, they know deep down that they're full of shit and they're not going to do anything about it.
Ooh, talking tough, Jeff.
Yeah. You see? Come at me, bro.
Come at me,
bro. It's just like instantly, like we had all these fears of civil war. We had all these like scenarios gamed out about what was going to happen. And don't get me wrong, like there's some fucking crazies out there. There's some your Timothy McVeighs who could go and blow up some shit and cause some real havoc in this world.
Yeah.
But I feel like they had no organization all along. It was all an illusion. They were not united to steal this election. They had no plan for what would happen afterwards. Donald Trump just thought he was going to bullshit his way into a second term.
Because he's successfully done that in the business world his whole life, because the business world is fucking horseshit.
Exactly. And he thought he could just keep going, doing the thing he does,
Yep.
and it would sustain him forever. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, he got fucking fat. He got fucking lazy, and he wasn't expecting the people to speak.
Yes.
But I'm shocked actually that the media like went for it. That the media and the establishment and the system worked. Like, I just didn't think those. I did not trust it. We've seen 4 years of it being like, well, let Trump have his say, and then suddenly this both sides garbage just collapsed.
Yes, right. And they finally, I think, saw their opening in a way. Like there are so many voices in newsrooms being like, he's the president. It's up to the people to decide whether it's corrupt, even though they have no mechanism whatsoever to respond. So
right.
we'll just present it as not corrupt because they get to decide. And then what? And then we just wring our fucking hands, which we've been doing for 4 years, which has been my problem with this whole thing, except for the Washington Post. Good on you, Washington Post. So
yeah.
The interesting thing, though, is I think that they all, first of all, they didn't want another 2000 when they called, I think you said on Facebook, or somebody said that when they called Florida for George W. Bush when he had 500 votes.
I don't remember. Is that what happened?
Well, what happened in 2000 is this was before Fox News. Everyone knew that it was right wing, and it was still pretending, and no one was talking. Only Al. What's the guy who's funny? He wrote the book.
Jolson.
No.
Fox News is racist.
Taken from Al.
He had a real change of heart in his later years.
Even though they were using Al Jolson on their billboards.
Mammy loves Fox News.
Who wrote Lies and the Lying Liars That Tell Them? Al Franken.
Yeah, there you go.
Al Franken was the only one who was talking about Fox News being lies before the 2000 election. Everyone else was like, oh, there's like a fourth. There's like another CNN now, I guess, and I'm not sure who's watching it. And
we didn't say that in polite company.
Yeah. And so, but then on election night, a Fox News shill editor, quote unquote, because it's not actually news, called it for Bush. early, like called Florida for Bush. And then everyone else is like, oh, Fox already called it for Bush? Okay, I guess we'll call it for Bush also. And then that's what
shit.
gave us the presidency. So
Interesting.
that's what
Okay.
happened then. So they didn't want something like that. And instead, they didn't call it at all. And the glory of that is the fact that over the course of this week, as nothing was being called, but it was very clear Biden won all week long, the victory of Joe Biden set in, and the reality of the loss of Donald Trump set in, because no one could do it, because it was just in the air, and it was just this fume that everyone was smelling for so long that by the time they did call it, it had established itself as the inevitable truth. And I think that was a masterstroke. So after 4 years of the media having to capitulate to this guy, don't get me wrong, I will never forgive the New York Times for their headlines for the last 4 years. But anyway, they all were like, okay, all right, well, let's just not call it for a really long time so that it just settles in.
Wow, that's interesting. So there would have been riots, you think, if they had called it on election night?
Absolutely.
Potentially.
Or the next day. Like they could have called Pennsylvania Wednesday morning.
I don't think these Boogaloo brothers were going to fucking do anything, man. I think they're a bunch of pussies.
They're definitely a bunch of pussies.
Okay.
I hope
good.
they
We're
listen.
agreed there.
Guess what, Boogaloo brothers? You're fucking a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, Dad Jeans has got you. Dad Jeans has got it out for you.
Come
we got a mark
come
on your
at us,
back.
bros.
Yeah.
We live in Northeast Los Angeles. Come find us.
right across the street from Billie Eilish. We'll have Billie come out, and she'll definitely settle things down.
With one of her patented clubs.
Yeah, one of her bangers. Brendan, arguably, I would say in response to that, Fox News did the exact same thing this time by calling Arizona early. Yes, they completely punctured Trump's hopes because I think they're fucking done with him.
Oh. Yeah, they see the dark cloud of the future. No one wanted another 4 years of this putz.
They just don't. Yeah, Rupert Murdoch's like, he's served his purpose. We got our judges.
He's a useful idiot, and now he'll just cause problems because it's so blatant and obvious.
Yes. Why? I mean, why did they call Arizona so early? Why? How?
I thought there was an error. It was a clerical error at decision desk or something like that.
Really?
Or whatchamacallit, like Benedict. There's some service that they all use. And I can't remember the name of it, but in any case, they had some sort of clerical error, and AP called it too, and PBS and Huffington Post all called Arizona like 5 days ago.
But then when you find a clerical error, you can't just you can't say, hey, we made a clerical error, we're going to make that state.
There seems to be some like never uncall a call thing for some reason.
Interesting. So we got lucky. It was a coin flip, essentially.
Basically. But here's there's another thing I wanted to say. Speaking of PBS, the PBS map, and also there's a French newspaper map that did the same thing. They show a gray United States with all the state borders, and then put little dots for each of the electoral votes clumped over the state. So California has a clump of little blue dots. That is a lot. It's a big clump, but it's not the whole state of California because, Jeff, wheat doesn't vote, and wheat doesn't even lean in a particular direction. Well, I'm going to be walking that back.
Yeah, it depends on where the wind's blowing.
I mean, right? So don't trust the wheat. They're just going to vote however the wind's blowing. But
trust the chaff.
Trust the chaff. The goddamn maps that all these things show are suggesting that there are so many more Republicans than there actually are because it's just red. And this brings me to this other thing, this article I read about why it is the way it is. And there are two reasons. One is that Thomas Jefferson in the year 1800, he was a rural slave owner, apparently, in the 1800s.
So they say.
An obscure rural slave owner who was interested in politics. And when he became president, when there were 19 people in the United States, it used to be that the electors from the Electoral College voted by precinct within states.
Okay.
And he changed it so that they vote winner take all for a state. And the reason he did that was because otherwise he would lose. But what that did was it created a rural skew, which is exactly what he was all about, is rurality.
Right.
And then in 1929, this is the 1-2 punch.
The plurality of rurality,
if you will, as it were.
Okay.
And then 1929 comes along, and after the census, the Republicans see that everybody is moving to cities. And so they're like, oh, shit, we're going to lose all our seats unless we do something. So they pulled this maneuver where they capped the Congress at 435 seats. And what that did is made it so that no matter how many people live in a district, they will get a certain amount. A state will get a certain amount. So cities can't suddenly take over with their agenda. And instead, they made it so that a voter in Wyoming has 70 times the power of a voter anywhere else, you know? So like they that was the second punch in this rurality 1-2 punch that made it so now if you're a farmer, you run this country. And if you are if you live in a city and ever actually meet people who aren't like you, you have no voice.
Yes, so true. And like what ends up happening is that we're now replicating, like our votes are worth 3/5 of a person. Like we end up replicating the system that everyone agreed was completely corrupt.
Yes, I'm bowed my head and I'm snapping at what you just said.
Thank you. I had an interesting thought. We got into our heated argument with one of your whatever. One of these contrarian people.
One of my troll farm people.
Yes, exactly. One of your thread barnacles. About he was talking about how the Electoral College is important because someone in Montana shouldn't have to be governed by someone in California, because people in big cities would just win, would get the will of, would win the presidency every time or whatever.
As it should be.
But my response to him, which I unfortunately thought about long after the thread was dead, is that in itself is an Electoral College mindset, in that you think that a state, like if we're going by the popular vote, then state boundaries mean nothing. And you could create a coalition of people in LA and people in Montana. Like you would have to, as a politician, appeal to every person individually. The state doesn't go to anyone. So for you to say like, oh, Montana's going to be governed like California, that's not true. The politicians have to appeal to every single person on their own merit. And you could create these incredible coalitions of people, diverse people across the country that has nothing to do, because like Los Angeles isn't, there was like 25% Trump voters in Altadena or whatever. So you could organize those together with other people and win the majority. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Like you don't declare a state at the end of the night. There is no state vote.
Right. Exactly.
So like to think that like, well, if I live in Montana, then someone who lives in California is going to get the majority of the vote. That's irrelevant. Like there is no California in a popular vote.
Yes, right, exactly. It is
just whoever appeals to the most people in the country.
One person, one vote, the end.
Yes. Now you could say cities have more people, but there's also not one city way of voting.
Right.
Yeah. So like I'm saying, you could wrench those people. You could stick together city people and country. You could get the country mice and the city mice and together as friends.
Build it around coalitions. I am passionate about the way freelancers are fucked over in this country, so I would join that coalition.
Yes, it is, and you're going to be fucked over even more now, thanks to this Uber and Lyft, this Prop 22 thing, which they say it's just applies to their drivers right now, but that's gonna come a creeping.
Their ads were so evil.
Oh yeah. Oh totally. I mean, 40% of the people thought they were voting for healthcare for Uber drivers.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And this is precisely what's wrong in a plutocratic corporatocracy.
That's right. That's a California issue, so we probably shouldn't get too deep on that, because I don't think anyone else in the country cares about it.
Yeah.
But I will say one more thing in regards to the rapidity of irrelevance, as we were discussing earlier, is the Four Seasons.
Oh yes,
debacle.
Yes, I had that.
It was just such icing.
That is so much extra. That is the cherry bomb on top of the sundae.
Yes.
Just
the
great, and Giuliani just be like wandering, shuffling up to the podium, being basically being like, I bet on the wrong horse. That's so excellent. I mean, visually, I don't know what he said verbally, but that was the visual. It was so fabulous.
The most pathetic thing. So if you haven't seen this, they staged a press conference. The lawyers or President Donald Trump's lawyers staged a press conference, which they thought was at the Four Seasons Hotel, but they're just in such disarray that they booked it at the Four Seasons Landscaping Service, which is between a mortuary and a porn store.
Called Fantasy Island.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And they're in front of the garage door in this parking lot in front, and they quickly taped up some Trump signs and put out a podium, and we're just all scratching their heads at each other, like just these 19 people all being like, what are we doing here?
Yes. And like 10 minutes before the press conference was set to begin, AP called Pennsylvania for Biden and just knocked the wind right out of their sails. Like just like everything. They're standing in a fucking dingy alley next to a porn store. And reporters are leaving because there's a better story. It's just you couldn't write it better. You couldn't write it better. And I hate the whole thing. Like, it bothers me the whole like the writers were like as if we're living inside a writer's room. But it really did feel like there. It's just not like the HBO takedown of this era is going to be. It won't. I don't even know if it'll be funny. It's just so like on the nose.
Right. Exactly. I mean, fiction. It's so much stranger than fiction that it has broken my ability to enjoy fiction in any way.
Yeah, it's true. Shall we move on to our next segment?
Oh, yes. Let's.
Congratulations, though. I know Joe and Kamala are both big listeners. So yes. Congratulations, you guys. You did it.
Yeah, and we've had your voicemail in our docket forever, and we're really are going to get to it. We're going to get to it.
So sorry. We've got more important things to discuss, but we love you guys. Good job. Our next segment is You Don't Get It.
You don't get it. You just don't get it. You don't get it at all. You don't get it. You just don't get it. Shut up, leave me alone. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Lick it down, down.
You don't get it. This is segments. This is a segment about things that our families just do not get about us, or our friends, whoever. The world doesn't get about us. Mm-hmm. We have inner feelings, Brendan, and people just don't understand it.
What, dads? We're not supposed to.
Yeah, I know. It's a dirty little secret of this podcast is that we're revealing that some of us, not all of us,
no,
the bulk of us do not have inner feelings. But
right.
There's a small yet powerful segment of us, about 300 the last time I checked our downloads, who have inner feelings. This is my feeling about music. Music should be audible and prevalent. That means if you're in the car and you've got music on, mm-hmm. you should be able to hear the music. It shouldn't be down at sub-ear level, like... I don't need, because most of the time in a car you're not talking. So like don't put it down so that you can hear each other talk. Turn it up so you can hear the fucking music, or don't have music on at all. It needs to be audible. I can't have some music lingering at the edge of my perception.
Yes.
It's fucking irritating.
What about music that's meant to be there, like jazz?
It should still be audible, because it's like jazz is it should even more be audible, be even more audible, because it doesn't disrupt the flow of conversation.
So you can create I'm not saying, more of a bed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying turn it up till 11 every time, mm-hmm. but it should just be, if I have music on, I want to be able to hear the music. When it's like just tickling the edges of my hearing, it's super irritating to me. And number two, it should be prevalent in that there should often be music playing. In a house, there should often be music playing. Mm-hmm. My wife is a musician. She's been in bands. She enjoys music, but she doesn't like it there. And it's almost because she enjoys it too much that it distracts from everything else in her life. Mm-hmm. And I can't get with it. I need it. I need it in my life. I need a lot of music. I need music around in the house. It is a bed. It's like a mood in your house. If the house is quiet all the time, it I don't know. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. I like to have a little atmosphere.
Huh. Have you ever thought about being in a band with your wife, like the two of you being in a thing together?
I don't think it's a good idea.
I see. That's a shame for the world.
When it comes to music, I mean, we have sung songs together. I think we could be like a cover band. We could like sing songs together. Mm-hmm. But I think original material, I'm too persnickety when it comes to writing stuff.
Ah, I see. Interesting.
I just have a very like solid sense of what a thing should sound like in my head. And Sarah's much more, the bands she's been in have been much more, meandering, I think, in the way that they approach music. Like she's been in bands with Roston, our friend Roston.
Oh yeah, they had that song House Guests. I like that song.
I don't know about the song House
Ready
Guests.
for the House Guests. I can't remember how it works, but it's pretty great.
Oh, good for you. But it's very they're very like it's music that I enjoy listening to. It's like indie pop style, where it's just like a little bit cacophonous and sort of the melodies arise out of nowhere. But if you'll notice from my segment songs, Brendan, that melody is sort of where my head goes.
Oh, sure.
So I write a melody and then I do something that goes exactly with the melody. I'm not like, I'm not twinkling around when I'm writing a song.
You're a hookman.
I'm a hooksman. Yes, exactly. A hooksman. Some people are twinklers. I'm a hooksman.
Twinklers and hooksmen.
Yes. Have you heard? Do you remember the battle, the famous 1650s battle of the hooksmen and twinklers?
Oh, this is during the interregnum.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. We were just developing war technology, and the hooksmen had to try it out. And
right, exactly. And then the Cavaliers and the Roundheads came in and subsumed you into their ranks.
Yes, and General Bryant Lamont Perkins was on the front lines leading us to victory.
And he said, "To seize the Lavaliers!"
To the loo! Okay. That's my you don't get it. Is there anything your family doesn't get about you, Brendan? Or would you like to address my
well, here's what my family doesn't get about me. I care about a clean house a lot more than they think I do.
Yep.
And I want them to listen to my words, not my actions on this one.
Okay.
I want to be a better contributor around the house, but there's too much to think about. And I was raised wrong. So what are you going to do? Wait,
so what are you saying? You don't do any housework?
I can't keep up with Emily. Emily was raised correct. Like, here's how Emily was raised. She would be brought at seven, Oscar's age, to the grocery store and be given a list and a blank check and dropped off. And she had to do the grocery shopping for the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a bold move on a parent's part.
And she had a night of the week she had to cook.
Okay. We had that, but not until I was older.
See, that's great. We never had that, so I'm a useless human being. But she at seven, and it couldn't be breakfast for dinner. She couldn't be like, I made cereal, everybody. Like, she had to fucking cook something at their stove, which is crazy. Anyway, we want to do that with Oscar because it's just a way to do it correctly. And I am bringing up the rear. I do the dishes, I fold the laundry, I do the easy stuff, I make the beds, but I don't cook because I never learned and I can't. And so I'm trying to do what I can, but I'm just not of the mindset that like a clean house is a clean life or something like that, or however any given saying would go. And instead, I do wish I want the fact that I wish I were contributing more to count for something.
Sure. Well, but some people don't some people aesthetically work better in clutter? Is that not
Oh, that would be me.
So my wife's aunt has a thing where she just has her office, and her office can be as messy as she wants it to be, but the rest of the house is clean.
Fair.
So Maybe that's a compromise of some sort.
Yeah.
Find a corner. Can the clofits just be as disgusting as you want it to be?
Yeah, actually, that is already true, and it is. It definitely is. As I look around here, yeah, it's pretty bad.
So does your family? They don't get it that you want to be involved, but you just don't have the tools. Do you need the tools?
I need the tools, and I need the mental space to notice when something is a mess and want to clean. I can live with a mess for a long time. And that is much to Emily's chagrin that she can't. That I just can walk past something like, oh my God, this rotting mound of yogurt with worms in it has been sitting here for 2 weeks.
Oh, good Lord! Yeah, no, I can't do that either. I'm on Emily's team on this one. I wish I could. I wish I had the time to contribute more. I'm afraid that our relationship since COVID, especially since Sarah went back to school, has definitely broken down into more traditional male and female roles.
Yeah. Funny.
Not funny.
Unfunny.
Not interesting. Sad. Brendan. Sad is the word you're looking for.
Hilarious. I'll start peppering in hilarious.
Yeah, that's good. Just to let me know that you're still listening.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I get it, man. It is fucking difficult to keep up with the Joneses nowadays. But we're all trapped in our houses all the time.
Yeah.
You would think that
Producing messes.
Yes, you would think that it would just be like a daily ritual. Like that, I try to work that into our life where it's just like, yeah, clean this much of the bathroom like once a week. And everything just magically is always clean. Like if you just take a little bit at a time, everything just stays clean. But I can't do that. So then we have to do the whole like day long thing where we're making up for lost time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's a day of your life gone. Right. I know Emily's always advocating for incrementalism. And by the way, I'm also in charge of the bathroom and I'm supposed to do it every week, but I do it every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, it is kind of gross down here, isn't it?
It's tough, man. A toilet gets so gross so quickly.
Yeah. And I do take pride when it is squeaking with that cleanliness. I feel I have a certain pride, yet nonetheless, I can go a long time not paying attention to it.
Let me ask you this. What's your secret for inside the hole?
Way down there?
Yeah, way down there.
Way down in the hole, as they said in the wire.
Way down in the hole. I'm going to my toilet.
I can't. I have the wrong brush. The staining down there. I can't. I have never figured it out. We got this new toilet, and I was like, I'm going to be on this, like bleach on a toilet, and yet it turned brown. And I can't get down there. I don't know what to do about it.
I don't either. Back in the lush days or the louche days or the rich times, we would have a cleaning people and they would get that shit sparkling clean all the way down to the back of the hole. I can't do it. I don't know the secret.
I can't either. I don't know what it would take because we have the toilet. You know what it would take? It would be buying a different shaped toilet brush, which I never do because whoever sits down and is like, it's time to buy that newly shaped toilet brush with all my spare time.
Never. You just have to see that toilet brush and be like, I'm getting it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That toilet brush is an impulse buy.
But that is going to happen at the dollar store where that also won't be the right toilet brush.
No. That is not going to be the right toilet brush for anyone.
No.
That's going to make your toilet dirtier.
Exactly. And snap it off its base somehow because that's how those products work.
Exactly. Yeah, you always think you're getting a deal, don't you?
Yeah, I always think you're getting a deal at the dollar store. When in
there
fact,
are no deals, friend.
You're just Alibaba's bitch.
Oh, speaking of, here's a little quick. I'm going to slide in a little quick fatherly advice that I just got from a friend, and then we can move on to the next segment. I was lamenting the fact. So I went to Vroman's, local bookstore in Pasadena. Amazing bookstore.
Wonderful.
It's really Vroman's.
Oh, very well. Yes.
Yeah, it's a true local treat, local delight. And they're having troubles, so they've been putting out the word to come in and shop. And now you can go in there, you can just walk in the store and shop like a human being.
Oh.
Which is amazing. It's like if you get an hour of spare dad time, just go and walk around a store. It feels it's so resetting. So I bought a book there, which looked interesting to me because I'm like, I'll support the local store, and it was like $36. I think it's a hardcover book, and I'm like, that's some pretty poly for a book that I may never read, but I'll consider this a donation. This is like me donating to the Democratic Party. It's like, oh, this is a donation for this store. $36. I get back home and I look it up on eBay and it's $18 on Amazon. It's $18 on Amazon. Now, I recognize that we shouldn't be buying anything from Amazon, but the price differential here, if it was $22 on Amazon and $18 in the store, I would not hesitate. I would be like, oh, come on. I can throw a couple bucks to the local merchant. But when it's literally twice as much, that really makes you rethink your priorities.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend about this, and his advice was, well, you're either paying for convenience or you're paying for to sustain someone's life. Or something like that. Oh, I wish I knew what he said. It was so good. But it just made me rethink, like, yeah, I'm contributing to the well-being of another human. Like,
right.
When you do that.
A group of them.
Or multiple humans. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're paying for the writer. You're paying for the bookstore. You're paying for the workers at the bookstore. Yeah.
But paying anything to Amazon does nothing for anybody.
No. It just goes into Jeff Bezos' pocket.
Yeah.
I'd like to go into Jeff Bezos' pocket someday.
It's very warm.
Okay, let's move on to our new segment. This is a segment called You Make the Call.
Oh, let's do.
You make the call and we'll answer the call. When you're feeling small, we'll nail your balls to the wall. And now we recognize that may not be what you want at all, but you should have known what you were getting into when you made the call. But I could audibly hear you peeing quite loudly.
So it should probably be included in the episode.
I think so.
Did you hear how long the pee was? Ever since I stopped eating salt, I pee for hours.
Yeah, it seems like you're really into this peeing thing. It's a late in life hobby.
While I was standing there peeing, Oscar came up with the cover. We get the print version of the Times on Sunday, and he came up with the cover, and it said Biden beats Trump, and it is so fantastic that it didn't say
I
Biden
buy
wins.
A copy.
Yeah, it didn't say
Amazing.
Biden wins. It didn't say victory for Biden or we've elected Biden. It said Biden beats Trump.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
But speaking of, let me throw in another newspapers thing real quick. That it is a little disgusting, I think, how quickly the media, even though it was delicious to see them finally consider Donald Trump irrelevant, it's a little disgusting how quickly they jump onto like the popularity bandwagon when they've been completely fucking over our country for the last 4 years.
Yes, exactly.
And now they're like, well, it was inevitable that he'd win. Everyone's known it from the beginning. It's just like, you motherfuckers, you always do that. They always do this. They keep us on the edge of our seat in this state of heightened anxiety. Like, it is true that Joe Biden has been leading from the beginning. Like, the minute he got into the race, he's been leading. You wouldn't know it from looking at any of these goddamn newspapers for the last year.
Exactly. Right. And they've had a mole writing their headlines for so long, and no one is talking about it, and it makes me absolutely insane. But thank God that person now maybe will lose interest because they can't troll the entire United States and drive democracy into the dirt anymore on behalf of their dear leader Donald Trump, and instead they can move on to, I don't know, maybe they'd be more comfortable at Breitbart or something like that.
Yeah, I hope so. I doubt it. I think we're going to see the same bullshit for the next 4 years.
Because they're working at the Gray Lady, so they get to.
They don't know what else to do. Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 calls this week. The first is from a longtime favorite. A man by the name of Zorn Chamblad is back with us.
Oh my goodness.
Get ready. I haven't actually listened to this because I wanted to listen to it with you.
Oh my God, I'm excited.
Gentlemen, seize the day. It's Zorn Chamblad. I'm on a little bit of a break now. This COVID has been very difficult. About the first month, Diane and I didn't do much of anything. But after about a month, I said, no, Diane, no more shucking and jiving. I got to get on the road. So I got the company, gave me an Econoline, stacked it full of yeast rolls, frozen vegetables, and other edible fungibles. Packed up my John Paul Larkin CDs and hit the road. And I've been going to and fro the Ohio Valley region. I feel like a ragamuffin, but I'm hanging in there. And I just have a quick question for you guys, two gentlemen who are in the entertainment industry. Marshall wants to watch a movie called The Pirates of Penzance. I guess it's with Kevin Costner. And I was wondering, for an 11-year-old, is that age appropriate? Thank you. And I hope everyone is staying strong. God bless.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
It's so good to hear his voice again.
That's what we needed. I forget this fucking Joe Biden victory. That's what's brought us back. We're back, baby.
It is morning in America.
America is back. But I first have to reach out to Zorn and say, I'm so sorry. He's become a traveling salesman. He's like living in the Dust Bowl times.
He's like Willie Loman.
Yeah, he's out there on the road just trying to make a buck for his family.
Oh, God, it's so sad.
Diane and the kids.
With all his fungibles.
Oh, my God. I know.
Zorn,
I hope his fungibles don't... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I hope they don't molder.
Exactly, yes. I as well.
Yeah, and I just hope that our voice can bring him some comfort out of his dashboard.
I hope so, yeah. If I don't even know how he's listening to this. I hope he's still maintained his cellular bill so that he can,
I feel like maybe we might consider starting a GoFundMe.
Oh, I would absolutely start a GoFundMe for Zorn, for sure. If he was having any troubles, just let us know. Call us again. The number, by the way, 323-515-9290.
And perhaps we should play the new jingle for our song.
We should.
For our number.
We should.
And here it is.
323-515-9290.
Excellent,
yeah.
Jeff.
Thank you.
9290.
Yes. So call that number if you want to be like Zorn and let us know what's going on in your life. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot for new listeners, if there are any. This is a fella. He's a little bit mysterious, right?
Yeah. There's very little we know about him other than what he has told us on the air.
Yes, but he's our favorite caller. No offense to all of the rest of you callers,
but there's just something about this.
I think you'll
magic.
Understand.
Yeah,
I think they'll understand.
He is very difficult to search. I think he's pretty much off the grid. No social media. It's very hard to determine anything about Zorn other than what he chooses to reveal to you.
Yeah, but he's a salt of the earth, decent American.
Certainly.
Idaho, is that where he lives?
Oh, did he say Ohio? I couldn't.
Or Iowa.
Is it Iowa? Oh, I think it's Iowa.
Where's Sioux City? Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe he's in Iowa. And I guess he sells fungibles for a living. But maybe he's just like, it sounds like he's pretty. I mean, his company got him an Econoline, so he's probably higher up on the food chain.
Yeah, that's true. He sounds like my grandfather's life. My grandfather was the regional manager salesman for Lucky Strikes.
I know. Yeah, he spent a night in a sauna and lost 15 pounds.
Yeah, that's the guy. And he would be gone, literally absent from Monday morning or even Sunday night until Friday night. Like, just not home. Didn't sleep at home. Just every week, just gone. And then on Saturdays, he had to get his hair done, his nails done, and all his suits pressed for the next week. So it was all just production all day long.
So how are Diane and little Maddie and who's
Marshall?
And Marshall, yeah. How are they dealing with all this?
That's a great question. It looks like Marshall's getting into some contraband media like Pirates of Penzance.
It does, yeah. So now there's a few things that I'm the few things I need to reconcile in this story. There's definitely a musical called Pirates of Penzance.
Uh-huh. By what's her name and what's his face, right?
Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yeah, those two.
Right. Yep. So that's a thing. There's a movie called Pirates of the Caribbean, starring Johnny Depp. Not sure what the Kevin Costner one is.
Could he be conflating those two things?
I think there's a possibility, but there's a third one in there too. Probably Robin Hood. Probably Robin Hood.
Ah, yes, of course.
So with Kevin Costner. So there's a few. I think what I would suggest, Zorn, is that you check with Maddie to make sure that you've got your story straight, because he could actually be asking for permission to watch pornography.
Right. Some sort of, what do they call those things? A porn parody.
Yeah, some kind of mashup, because
Yeah.
I don't think the movie you're describing exists.
Pirates of 10 Pants.
There you go. Exactly. And Kevin Costner, for all we know, might be in,
Yeah, exactly.
that stage of his career. I haven't seen him around for a little while.
After No Way Out, there was another couple baseball movies, and then I don't remember.
Right. Now he's looking for a way in. Whoa!
Hey, now.
Hey, come on. Pirates of...
I have it on good authority that he likes fishing by shooting a bow and arrow into the water and shooting the fish with an arrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Spearfishing.
Is that what that
He's a
is?
spear fisherman.
Yeah.
But that, I think, isn't that done underwater?
From the boat, from the deck of the boat, you shoot you
really?
take a bow and arrow, and you just shoot the arrow through the specimen, and then and there's a string attached to the arrow.
So he's into fish murder.
Yeah.
Huh. What do you know? Who knew this about Kevin Costner? He made two movies that were terrible flops that both predicted the future.
Waterworld, which I loved, by the way. I don't know what everyone was complaining about. That movie was awesome.
I've actually never seen it. And also The Postman, which was about a postal carrier during the apocalypse.
That one was pretty bad. You know that Tom Petty is in that,
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
and he plays himself.
Oh, in a weird apocalyptic future?
Yes. So
Oh.
Kevin Costner shows up and finds some dam, and I think it's actually the Hoover Dam, and there are a bunch of people living on the Hoover Dam or something like that. And and they're like, get the leader to talk to the postman. And so who emerges from the crowd but Tom Petty himself? And and then they have this dialogue where Kevin Costner goes, "Aren't you ... And Tom Petty goes, "I was."
Oh, wow. So post-apocalyptic Petty?
Yeah.
Wow. So you seem to be quite an aficionado on Kevin Costner. I'm assuming from this call that the pirate part isn't important. The Penzance part isn't important. Maddie just wants to watch a good Costner movie.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest that was age appropriate?
Bull Durham.
Okay. No. Come on. You're gonna turn Maddie into some kind of...
Robin Hood. I saw Robin Hood a bunch of times in that theater when I was in high school because I loved it.
Okay.
You got Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, the late Sean
Sure.
Connery.
Billy Zane. Is Billy Zane in that one?
I'm sure he was in everything for a brief
Yeah.
period, wasn't he? He was on
Yeah.
that boat movie.
Yep. That's right.
Billy Zane, strange career.
Strange career. It's like meant to be a strange career with that last name, like Billy Zane. Like it just sounds like
Yeah, if it weren't zany, I would feel cheated.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, that's a good one. Pirate Hood, Robin of Thieves, something like that, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then Field of Dreams.
Oh, did I
think
cry?
Might be a good one.
I saw that in the theater a bunch of times too. Kevin Costner was kind of my teen years, basically. He was my teen
Apparently
heartthrob.
so. I never got the magic, but he's beloved.
He certainly is.
Dances with Wolves. Is that racist now?
I'm sure it is now, but it was a wonderful movie then.
Yeah,
But I'm sure
it was.
it wouldn't qualify as woke.
No, it was anti-racist at the time because he's understanding. It's a white man trying to understand what the fuck is up with the Indians.
Right, but the best they could do is just kind of shift the white gaze slightly versus get rid of it
Right.
completely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now he appreciates their savage impulses.
Speaking of Kevin Costner, there's one last thing I wanted to say about Joe Biden last night, which is that I had no idea how much I needed avuncularity in my life.
What I don't understand. What does that word mean?
It means being like an uncle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting word. Pedophilic.
I know. Well, it's the feeling of like this benevolent uncle presence, sort of like an old sage, nice guy.
Okay.
There are so few. Most old white men, and I'm throwing white in only because Joe Biden is white, but most old men are fucking assholes. But
right.
It's so nice when you come across a nice one. And there's a part of me, despite the fact that he's a centrist, and I most certainly am not, that's like, let's just have 4 years of some doddering nice guy who's decent. Even though he's just nothing's gonna happen and everything's gonna be incremental and pointless, it'll still be nice to just have an avuncular Joe in the mix.
Avuncular Joe.
Avuncular Joe.
It is nice. It's just it is calming. He's a soothing presence. He's not amping up the tension in the country.
Right. For his
That
game.
will be nice. That will be nice. But it will be still like, I mean, people are in such a fucking wormhole. Like they think he's a communist. Like there's like millions of people who like think he's a communist.
And like this guy who's like the Biden crime family during the Nevada press conference.
Right.
His t-shirt said barbecue, beer, and freedom. And he's and you're just like, okay, this is what we're up against. All right.
This is what we're up against. So we have an embarrassment of riches on our first segment. We have 2 calls.
Oh my God. Okay.
This week.
So Zorn, short answer, Bull Durham. Okay,
Bull Durham.
next.
No, stop. Terrible. Field of Dreams.
Bull Durham's one of the best movies ever made. Oh, Field of Dreams. Haven't watched Field of Dreams.
Bull Durham is actually a really great movie. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, though. You saw it several times in the theater, I'm sure.
And I did. And it holds up. I watched it again a couple of years ago. It's great.
Awesome.
It's great.
Quite sexy, though. Not for the children, right?
Yeah, they should be 12.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's the second call.
Hi, guys. Long-time listener, first-time caller. This is Michaela Block. I am a Dad Jeans super fan. And yes, I have mom jeans, but I can listen to ball sacks being blow dry and but stuff. I'm sitting outside so my family doesn't hear me say these things, but the neighborhood does. My question is, what in the hell are we doing virtual learning? My 17-year-old ADHD-ridden, Minecraft-loving, screen-obsessed youth is significantly struggling with virtual learning. And I'm on this, on one end, I love hanging out with him. He's so desperate for attention that every time I come home from my actual work that I go to, I take him on errands, and it is the best thing ever. And we watch stupid-ass TikToks together, and it's lovely. But whenever I bring up school, he turns into this seething, angry demon. What do we do about this? I totally understand. I cannot stand any screens. I'm not a screen fan. But he has to learn. He has to go to school. He's a junior in high school. So that's my question, guys. Love your show so damn much. Bye.
Jeff, did you have any idea that we had super fans?
I did not. I think this is the first one. This is our first official super fop.
This is really, really exciting. Tell me,
Yes.
So I was sort of struggling with my equipment. Tell me her name. Did you catch it?
Yeah, it's Michaela. This is actually a friend of mine. So,
great. Okay.
Yes. So a friend of ours, I should say.
A friend of ours. She's a friend of mine now.
Yeah.
Michaela.
She's in the Dad Jeans crime family. She's a friend of ours.
The Dad Jeans crime family.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she was sitting on her porch whispering butt stuff. in order to get her point across. She
seemed to have a little trouble getting that phrase out too. It's very but sorry, go ahead.
Michaela, welcome to the Dad Jeans crime family. It's a pleasure to have you. That is a real stumper because, and as she spoke, I thought about this. Oscar also has to deal with like doing the math games and all this kind of and all this stuff that the LAUSD has assigned. And it all, like, compared to the video game industrial complex, it doesn't stand a chance at being even remotely interesting. It's like notional video games that are vaguely interactive compared to, world of Minecraft or whatever the fuck, where you just like drop into these things and lose yourself completely. And so it is very understandable that any kid who is accustomed to a certain level of production value on the part of their video games, when asked to do this rinky-dink bullshit for their school, would feel that it is just bureaucratic horseshit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're just pushing. I mean, they're literally pushing like blocks around on a screen. That's what the game is.
Yeah.
Like move this number from here to here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's like Pong.
Yeah. You're like, why are we spending our time? We're not fucking this isn't. They aren't learning anything here. This is useless.
Right.
Well, and she has a 17-year-old, so that's like
extra difficult. I mean, it would be more interesting, I think, if a school were like, okay, kids, you have the internet at your disposal. Learn violin in a year. We'll talk to you in a year.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You could. Yeah. Exactly. You could sign up for any kind of independent study and figure out how to do it online. Right.
Right.
In this day and age.
Exactly. Yeah. And get it, and it would be amazing. I will say this. In another life, I have had some dealings with a school. This is too drastic a measure probably for Michaela, but I had dealings with it. There's a school in Vermont called VLACS, VLACS, that that has been doing online, like kids do that instead of their high school. It's kind of like Simon's Rock or something, Oh, Simon's Rock would be another option for her, where it's kids who are...
I don't know either of these.
Oh, okay. So I got a couple of suggestions, but they're very drastic and they're kind of the nuclear option because I can't think of anything I can't think of anything reasonable for her to do. But VLAX has been doing this online education thing for 10 years just for kids who are like fuck high school, or kids who are actors in TV shows, or kids who are just on the like music, whatever it is, like who have weird lives. And so they've got it down. It's not like your local school district who had to start thinking about this 4 months ago. It's a well-oiled machine that has sort of worked this out and does it very well. And their enrollment has like quadrupled since this whole thing happened. All these people are taken, because you don't have to be in Vermont, you can be anywhere, So, but they're accredited and you get your high school diploma is one thing. The other is a college called Simon's Rock that's actually for high school students. It's this weird thing where you leave high school after 10th grade, or maybe, and so you spend junior and senior year at Simon's Rock, which is technically a college, but it's kind of a weird hybrid. So when you would have graduated high school, you get your associate's degree, and you're already on your way in college. You can either transfer or stay, and then you're kind of done when you're 20, and it's all purple-haired kids. I was very close to going to Simon's Rock also because I was a mess in high school, and I scraped the bottom, got F's and D's, and then they just kind of spit me out the other end. But I needed so much help, and I got zero help. And so so Simon's Rock was an answer. The only other thing I can say is you are bearing witness to his struggles in a way that probably you would not have been able to outside of a pandemic. And while it is horrendous to witness and he is having a horrible time, you being present for it is so much better than him being in a sea of 30 faces, all of whom are struggling to some degree, and some underpaid teacher trying to keep up with it all. In a way, this is a sort of win. To some extent, the fact that you can co-grapple with him on this very difficult problem that has no solution.
Well, Brendan, that is, first of all, shockingly useful advice.
Oh.
I'm very impressed that you just had an answer for that right away. But the question is, would he be struggling if it weren't COVID times? Like, is this in itself a product of COVID that literally every single kid is dealing with?
Right. I mean, right. And yes. But she did say ADHD, did she not? I feel like she might have.
Maybe that I might have missed that part.
I think she did, but I could be wrong. But I think she said that, and that, which redoubles for him how much harder this is.
Yeah. I mean, I know him. I don't know. I don't know that I would. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he has ADHD. He doesn't strike me as like a particularly hyper individual.
I could be projecting.
But yeah, I mean, we all have ADHD in our own ways. I mean, he might, be clinically ADHD, but anyone living through this period of human history has ADHD, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can't fucking focus. Can you focus?
No.
I mean, you wake up at 4 a.m. so that you can focus. You're very dedicated to finding that focus, but it is not innate.
No,
You
certainly
know,
not.
it's a struggle we all deal with, I would say.
Yeah.
But I mean, so having the opposite end of the, not the opposite end of the spectrum, but the opposite end of the age gap, Eli is now in first grade, and he's having a terrible time, like just awful. Like he can't. This Zoom, his teacher, God bless her. Again, she's doing the Lord's work. Take a bullet for her. Mm-hmm. But it's just so poorly conceived the way that we're doing this online learning right now.
Yeah.
He has like he's supposed to be in like 4 hours of Zoom every day, which he is lucky to make one. Like we've talked with the teacher and we're just like, he's not sitting there for 4 hours. So he does 1 hour. Then we're trying to do his worksheets with him at home. But meanwhile, in the rest of these hours, the teacher and the other kids, there's like 8 kids, I think, who are just like, they can just do it. You know, it's fine for them. Mm-hmm. They don't have any difficulty like sitting and staring at a screen and paying attention and doing all their homework, and all these like goody two shoe kids. They in the meantime, they're moving beyond him. So like the other day, like he's still like working on his like basic alphabet and sounding out letters and, word digraphs and stuff like that. And the rest of the kids, there are certain kids who are just reading, just going to town. And now like we tune into the group activity the other day and it's like, okay, now we're going to write 2 sentences, and the sentences, like we're going to talk about transitions between sentences, and like I'm baking a cake and then we're going to eat the cake. So everyone write that down. And Eli's just like, meh. Like I just see how like the whole No Child Left Behind right now, it's like every child left behind, you know?
Yes.
Like there's no possibility of personal attention. Mm-hmm. And I just don't understand why the schools haven't been like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have like small groups of 4 to 5 kids. So you're like in with other kids who are on your same level. Mm-hmm. And the teacher's going to spend like a half an hour a day with them instead of spending 4 hours a day with everyone. And only the top performers are the ones getting the attention.
Right. Yes, exactly. But I'm sure he could sit and watch a video, right?
He could sit and watch like a cartoon.
Right. So here's what
but I mean, he watches educational TV shows. Yeah, sure.
So what they should do instead is show an educational thing that's a cartoonish thing that I'm sure exists on YouTube somewhere about fractions, whatever the fuck he's working on in first grade. And then the teacher round robins and does one-on-ones with each of the kids for 10 minutes and helps them 10 minutes at a time or 5 minutes at a time with each kid work on their worksheet, and they do the worksheet on their own or whatever, and they have plenty of time and they can wander away and they can come back and et cetera, like that way.
Absolutely.
And then like, here's the next video. Obviously Zoom is horrible for adults. So I can't even imagine like a 6-year-old brain. Zoom is hideous. And if if the teacher lacks sparkle, then forget about it. And so watch this thing that you can do because you're a kid and all kids like cartoons, and then I'll meet you one-on-one, and then this will just be a tutoring session. Is how it should go.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Go on.
But they aren't doing that. It's essentially a college lecture. Like we're expecting our first graders to sit through a college lecture.
Right.
Which I couldn't sit through a fucking college lecture. Like I would wander. I would be playing with other things the entire time,
Absolutely. Right, exactly. Like in Better Off Dead, not Better Off Dead, and Weird Science or Real Genius, when the guy shows up for the college lecture, and then over time people start leaving tape recorders and walking away, and then eventually the college professor himself has a big tape recorder playing the lecture to a bunch of tape recorders listening, and he's the only one in the class.
That's hilarious.
Do you remember that? It's great.
No, I don't.
And it was very prescient. The only other thing I would say, and this is because we struck on this we had a lot of luck with Oscar when we struck on this, but actually it's almost like the empty carb strategy is we made it a little bit competitive.
And
it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
We've hinted at like the way to kind of win the teacher's attention, and but actually the way you really make the teacher like you is blank, and he's like, and it just appeals to his kind of dastardly mind, and so we've made school a realm of dastardliness.
Oh wait, let me reverse that. I just had a really weird reaction to you saying that. I thought you were saying something else. I thought what I heard, because I glanced away for a second. I'm not even paying attention in this conversation, Brendan. That's how poor my attention span is. I glanced away for a second at a text, and I thought you said that we had made school competitive as like a society, and I was agreeing that was terrible. But what you were saying is that you taught Oscar the rules to vie for the teacher's attention. And what is that what you just said?
Yeah. And how did I'm not proud of this, but there's like another, for instance, and this is terrible, but I was like, who are the kids that talk the most? And he was like, Kayla. And I was like, so she gets the most attention kind of? And he's like, yeah, she's always raising her hand, and she's always, and the teacher's always calling on her, and Kayla had been student of the week last week and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said this jokingly, and I made
student of the week. How terrible that they're having this in Zoom.
Dude, don't get me started. But Oscar, thank God, was all anyway. And so he's like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and I made sure he knew I was joking, but I was like, okay, well, your job is crush Kayla.
Right.
And he was like, ha ha. And it kind of worked. I mean, that's great. That's great if that's your kid's personality. Eli is just not. He just isn't that. He's not that. Like right.
He just wants to hang out with us. Like he has no interest. Like I just feel like there's no. Now this has turned into an advice session for me, but we should be giving Michaela advice. I don't know. I mean, my point is that I totally agree with Michaela. I think it's an incredibly poorly designed system that we're having to deal with right now. And I feel like the thing that drives me mad is that I don't think there's any conversation around it. Like the school is not asking our opinions.
No, right. Exactly.
The teacher is not like writing a heartfelt email to everyone saying, this is so difficult, you guys. I understand. Like, here's what I believe. Here's how I'm going to make it easier for you. No, they're just trying to like stick the same failed system. Like it's a failed system in the classroom. And now they're trying to stick that failed system onto another failed system.
Yeah.
And just like plowing ahead and being like,
yep,
this is how we do things. We give people stars when they get their homework done. Like not pausing to think like maybe some kids are struggling with this. Maybe
yeah. And the other thing about Michaela's kid being 17, a wise friend who had teenagers once said to me, little kids, little problems. Big kids, big problems.
Oh,
and so that is something. So I want to recognize and see you, Michaela, contending with a much larger problem than Jeff and I have ever faced, because you have a big kid. So therefore, this is a big problem. There was one learning management system that we had to use, this thing called Skies. Do you have to use Skies?
We do. It's so horrible.
Skies is horrible. So in the beginning of the year, when every day devolved into tears and tantrums, I went onto LinkedIn and I found the CEO of Skies and I wrote him an email directly.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote me back, and I was like, there are tears every day in my house because of the bugginess, because of the kludginess of your program. And I read on your website that you only have one developer, and she graduated from college 2 years ago. But you have a $5 million contract from the LAUSD. So I want to know how you are using the most of that money in your budget to solve these problems as quickly as possible for the struggling children of Los Angeles. And he wrote back a very contrite email, and shit got fixed. I don't know if I had anything to do with it getting fixed, or if he was like, go fuck yourself, and he has a pre-written contrite email. But the other thing you can do is go after the software developers who are making fuck tons of money off of this and make them hire better and more developers.
That's incredible. That is incredible. I love that story. I do actually notice that Skies has gotten less bothersome in the last month, probably.
Mm-hmm. I credit myself.
I credit you too. That's amazing. Brendan, we have a fourth segment, which I'm loath to talk about. But we are also at 1:30, and I am almost out of battery.
And we should be merciful on our listeners.
Yes, exactly.
And
but
allow them to have their lives.
Allow them to have their lives. I have to eat my breakfast. But it's been a lovely discussion, as always.
It has indeed. Jeffrey, you complete me. You're one of my 4 or 5 closest friends.
Yeah, 4 or 5. You're on the bubble on one of those guys.
One of you is on the bubble.
Same right back at you, Brendan. You really thank you for that advice in the last segment. You actually, I think you had some wonderful words of wisdom. Hopefully, Michaela will take them to heart and maybe change whatever she's doing that isn't working right now. Why am I blaming Michaela now? God, Jesus, I'm sorry, Michaela. And Zorn, of course, you should, if there is indeed a movie called Pirates of Penzance starring Kevin Costner, absolutely let little Maddie watch that thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He's gonna learn a lot.
Maybe we should too.
Yeah. I'm willing to watch it for next week. That's a nice challenge.
Leisure class. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Brendan. It's been lovely.
It has.
Have a great weekend. God bless our new America. God bless America.
It's
we can
morning
say that
in America.
now.
God bless our troops.
Morning without a U in America. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Stay